You're listening to the Busproof Business Podcast, taking your business to the next level by taking you out of it. With our experience and proven results, we'll help you find the success that many crave, but only we can help you achieve. It's time to get started with your host, Greg Murphy.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to share some stuff with you today that is pretty cool. So as you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, we don't do our repricing using any of the out-of-the-box repricing tools. We've been working for a while, and we built up. So I have a lot of friends that are smarter / nerdier than me that can do some crazy guerrilla stuff with repricing and software and all that. So there is a guy that handles all this stuff for me, and I'm not going to tell you his name yet because we're going to be announcing something really cool. He's actually finally going to come out of the shadows, and we're going to talk about repricing stuff soon, and basically some tips and tricks. And we don't, I don't, me myself, I can just speak for me, I don't look at prices and repricing and books the same as a lot of people do in terms of, what information is important and what's not. You guys know that I like to have, well, hopefully, if you follow for a while, you know that I've said this many times before, that I'm on a low information diet in terms of what I pay attention to, what things I look at in my book business, the criteria I choose for selecting the books that I'm going to sell online. This has always been the case. And I really, very early on, I decided that, and it really wasn't a decision to make. I just knew that if I could make it up in volume, right? Like, I don't always have to make the best decisions, but what happens is I was never the guy that took a whole bunch of time deciding one way or another if I was going to buy a book or not when I was out scouting. I would go there and make it a very quick decision and move on. Which is why, live lookups and stuff are not as interesting to me as the database software, because in my mind, a price difference of 3 days is not super important, because there is a price range that most books stick to most of the time. Obviously, textbooks are different. But in talking with this guy who, I'm not going to I don't know. I don't want to just bust out with anything until I'm for sure that he's on board with me talking and sharing his name with you guys. But I'm pretty sure that me and my guy are going to be doing a crowdcast very soon, where you guys are going to be able to join us and talk about all these things. And if not, then I'll have a crowdcast. He'll just answer the questions in advance, and I'll talk with him. But yeah, anyway, the point of the story is that him and I, because of the discussions we've had over the years, he knows more about data than I do, which is not going to be shocking to most of you guys. And we've argued, had all these discussions about what's important and what's not. And, so the point of all of this, though, is to share with you guys the fact that all the data points that we're getting, and there's so many people in the community that are doing so many amazing things. The software that's available today versus the stuff that was available back when I started, it's like night and day. If you've never heard of a program called Scout Pal, I don't even know if it's around anymore, but Scout Pal was revolutionary at the time, but it is very old school. But you could basically scan a book, and it would give you the used and the new price and the sales rank on Amazon on a PDA, which, you guys, that was a big, big deal back in the day. And now, basically, you can, very soon you're going to be able to get an implant that's just going to like inside your eyeball, that's going to, you'll be able to look at a book and it'll show you the price. So, yeah. Hopefully that's a little bit further away than soon, but something like that probably will happen one day. In the meantime, And even if that was the case, I'm not sure people would still make good choices, because here's the thing. You know, the decision that we make about the data is only as good as the data that we're getting. And I feel sometimes like the Princess Bride, like, Inigo Montoya or whatever. The guy kept saying inconceivable, right? And then he says, well, I don't think that means what you think it means. Where a lot of times I think that's the way it is with data. Like, it doesn't always, because we have these snapshots that we get from Amazon and from Keepa and Camel, all those tools. They're not perfect, and none of us know what goes into the sales rank algorithm at Amazon. And there's tons of stuff that doesn't get captured by these pieces of software. So we have to understand the limitations of what we're doing and what software we're using. And so what happens is we're building stuff, like we're building these services on top of getting access to data that's not as great as we can. And then we're building services on top of that and services on top of that. It's like over time, it starts to mean less and less, right? Anyway, I don't know if this makes sense or not, but hopefully this is valuable. If not, I apologize. But I just want you guys to understand my thinking about the reason why I say that a low information diet is important to my success. Not over analyzing this stuff is a big deal. It's very important, because some of you guys are, if you follow the workshop that we did, the bulk books workshop, we talked about one of the types of booksellers are quants. And not only that doesn't only impact the kind of of your business model, but also the kind of person that you are is just tend to that kind of thing. Guys that are good with numbers they're drawn to the online arbitrage kind of thing for buying books. And I can see the reason that that's something that people enjoy. But for me, I prefer a low information diet because you can make decisions quicker. And I think that if someone took twice as much time as I do considering a book and were right 20% more often, I don't think it's a good trade. I just don't, because again, the price does not matter as much as the fact about whether it is sellable or not, right? So the price on one day versus the next day, that's not going to make a huge difference to me about whether or not I'm going to sell that book. Most of the time, obviously, there's always differences on the margins, and things might be a buy one day that's not the next. But that's just something I give up for the case of speed. So that's the moral of the story today, is a low information diet. That might be anathema to some of you guys that are listening, but it is what I credit my success to, especially my early success. The first year, we did I say we, right? This time I mean I did $145,000 my first year working 2 days a week. Well, I worked most days, but I got to source 2 days a week. And I was in grad school doing all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I did that, is because I sourced those 2 days a week. I paid somebody else to ship the books out. Back then it was merchant fulfilled. But I was able to go through, because I knew I had a very limited time to go through all the half price books or the library sales or whatever I was doing at the time. I had a limited amount of time to do all that stuff. And so it was important that I get in and get out. So that's why low information. And the other thing is, it's easier, guys. It's easier to make decisions based on less data. You preserve at least for me, what is limited RAM inside my head to focus on other things, right? If I scouted books the way some people scout books, and you look and then you click through and then you make sure and then you do the math, and no, I don't do that. That's not the way I do it. I'm not saying that if you do it that way, it's wrong. I'm saying it's a little bit wrong. No, I'm saying, in my opinion, the low information diet is more important for your success, because you can make more decisions quicker, and those decisions are going to be more right than wrong. repricing books is something that we're also going to talk about soon when I get my mystery repricer buddy on the Crowdcast. We're going to talk about pricing books, which is another art rather than the science as well. So if you guys ever see funky prices by other bigger sellers, this future Crowdcast we're going to do that I'll be announcing very soon is going to make you understand why that is the case. Okay? Hopefully this wasn't too unnecessarily whatever. Hopefully this wasn't too unnecessarily vague or whatever today. But yeah, that's what's going on, and I will talk to you guys soon. And remember, make today count.
That's all for this episode of the Busproof Business Podcast. Be sure to point your browser to busproofworkshop.com to sign up for our mailing list and to get your opportunity to enroll in one of our specialized seminars, guaranteeing you continued results in typical Busproof fashion. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to taking your business to the next level right here on the Busproof Business Podcast.